Hi, and welcome to the 13th episode of the Crochet Junkie podcast. My name is Amber. This is a podcast about crocheting, spinning, knitting, and just fiber-related crafty goodness. If you're new to the podcast, thanks so much for checking me out. You can find me on most social media sites as Crochet Junkie. I am on Instagram, I am on Facebook and Pinterest. On Ravelry, I am Crochet Junkie with the number 6. And I have created a Ravelry group as the Crochet Junkie podcast. So come check it out, say hello, introduce yourselves if you'd like. I'd love to hear from more of the viewers. And if you've subscribed, thanks so much to my subscribers. I've had quite a few people here and there subscribe, and it's always nice to know that people want to come back and watch what I'm yapping about this week. So I did create a Ask Away thread on the Ravelry group, and I had a question this week about, or actually last week, and I meant to talk about it on the last podcast, but I never got around to it. And she asked about my daughter's names and if there are any other crafts I would like to learn. So I'll start with my daughter's names. I have a 9-year-old named Atrella, and my 4-year-old is named Prudence. And she asked if they had meaning, if I named them after family members, and I did. Atrella is named after my maternal grandmother. She was born in the 1920s, and her parents named her after a folk singer that they went and saw. And you spell Atrella Atrella, and her middle name is John, and John is from my sister-in-law's middle name. And she was actually named because my father-in-law fought in the Vietnam War, and while he was there, he lost a friend. And when he got home, he wanted to name his firstborn after his friend to honor him. And it happened to be a girl, so he shortened it to Jon and used it as her middle name. And that's what my daughter's middle name is, Atrella John, after my sister-in-law and my grandmother. And then Prudence, she was named, my husband has a great aunt named Prudence that we've never met, so it kind of fit in with the family name, but we also just really wanted her to be named that because of the Beatles song. We both really loved the Beatles and loved the name. We loved that it was unique and it's just not common. My name is Amber, and being raised in the 80s and 90s, it was just, I know several Ambers. And Jennifer, Heather, Nicole, those are my generation women's names. I mean, if you meet someone my age, guarantee you they're going to be one of those 5. And I didn't want that for my daughters. I wanted something a little bit more unique, but not made up, not hard to pronounce. And yeah, so that's what we named them. And Prudence is Prudence Ann, and Ann is actually my sister's middle name. And what's interesting about that is my sister was named after my sister's middle name came from my mom's best friend. And then it so happens that one of my very best friends is middle named Ann too. I just thought that was kind of, it's a small world and sweet, and I really love their names. I've never liked my name. It was always, I've almost legally changed it because it doesn't seem like it suits me well. People tell me that it does. People tell me it's a pretty name, and they can like it. And I don't hate the name, I just don't like it for me. And my husband actually calls me Ambrosia because he knows I don't like Amber, which I think is funny and sweet. He is very sweet. Let's go ahead and do a mug shot since I keep taking sips. Who's the best mom? You. Atrella got me this last Christmas. They always do like a little Santa's workshop at her school where you can send the kids money and then they can buy gifts for their family or friends or whoever they want to buy gifts for. And Atrella got me this mug, and she got something for her dad and her sister. I think her grandmother's as well. I'm not real sure, I can't remember. But yeah, I just thought that was nice. I don't use this mug that much because I want it to last forever, and I don't want it ever to be broken. I haven't broken a ton of mugs, other people have, and by other people I mean my husband and Atrella, have broke a few of my special mugs. Just, because they get broken. You wash one drops, it happens. I'm not going to hang anybody by their toes in the dungeon because they broke one of my mugs. But almost, because my mugs are special to me. Tim has promised me once we move over to our other house to build me a display. I've seen them on Pinterest. I've pinned probably 10 of them of the wooden with little slots, so each mug has its own little spot. Because a few of mine, I have some of them set up on the windowsill in the kitchen. Most of them are in the cabinet, and you can't look at them. And I have pretty mugs. That's like my thing, is I collect mugs and yarn. So now that I've rambled on about mugs and my kids' names, I will start showing you guys some stuff, what I've been working on, and all kinds of stuff. So first I want to do, the other question that she had, was, are there any other crafts I want to learn? And there are. I would love to learn how to cross stitch and embroider and weave at some point. I want to learn all the fiber related crafts in the world. And hopefully that will happen at some point. But I'm new to knitting. I've only been knitting, a couple months, and it's still exciting to me. So maybe once knitting gets kind of boring, I'll switch to embroidery or cross stitch or weaving. So I've been watching a few new podcasts this past couple of weeks, and I'll tell you about them all individually. One of the ones that I've really been enjoying is Idle Cat Knits, and her name is Ellen. Hi Ellen, if you're watching. She lives down in Austin, and she has a segment on her episode where she goes into the past and shows you some stuff she's made maybe a while back. And I thought that would be fun because this is the Crochet Junkie podcast, but I feel like I hardly ever have anything crochet related to show you guys. And I'm hesitant to change my name. It's been Crochet Junkie for 10 years. My handle, it's in my email. I identify heavily as Crochet Junkie. It's sort of like my brand without being a brand because I don't sell anything. So yeah, I don't want to change it. I don't want to change it to like Knit Junkie or Fiber Junkie or, I don't know, Crochet Junkie. That's what I am. So this is a skirt that I made from some yarn I was gifted. A couple years ago, I told my whole family, please get me yarn, please get me yarn, please get me yarn for Christmas. My sister, love her to death, was the only one that did so. And I made her, she got me a ton of yarn too. I told her I didn't care where it came from because at the time I really didn't. Now I would be much more picky. I made her a huge blanket and actually gifted that to her she got me the yarn 2 Christmases ago. So last Christmas I gifted her a blanket that I made from the yarn she gave me, and she loved it, and she says she uses it all the time. And I made this skirt with some of the other yarn that she gave me. And she got me a bunch of Lime Brand Homespun. That's what this is, or I think it's called Homespun. I don't have the labels anymore, obviously, because it's been a while that I've made this. But it's just that really thick, chunky acrylic yarn. You see this is like just a slip stitch chain, so it's pretty substantial, bulky yarn. And I just made a skirt. What I did was a chainless foundation, because I have found that when you do the chainless foundation on anything, you need to have stretch. It's the best. Versus just doing a chain, it's going to pull tight and you're not going to have that give. So a chainless foundation, that way it's got some, stretch in the waistband to get over my hips and stuff. And then I just did some rows of increasing, and this is just all done in double crochet because it's such thick yarn. And I did some rows of increasing and then just started as a little chevron pattern. And then the bottom of it is cool because it's like, and I love this skirt for fall. First, it's gorgeous fall colors. And with leggings and a cute sweater, this is one of my favorite fall outfits. And it's really warm. It's really snuggly. And actually, now looking at it, you could actually use it as a poncho too. probably on a smaller person than me. I'm really broad-shouldered. I'm tall, so my shoulders are kind of wider. But yeah, you could do it like a child poncho. I'm sure this would fit a Trello really well. Double use. Yay. And here is another skirt that I've crocheted. And I actually made this one when Prudence was an infant. So she is going to be 5 in November, and she was probably a couple months old when I was working on this. And it's got lots of wear because I've worn it so much. So this is, again, a knee-length skirt, and it looks really wide, but the drawstring, because I'm pretty thin, cinches it up really nice. And it's swishy and awesome. And I got this pattern from the Crochet Today magazine. They actually are out of publication, but I think that you can still order back issues. And if somebody was really interested, I still have the magazine upstairs, and I could see which issue upstairs. I always say that. It's in my craft room. You guys don't know what upstairs means. But I can get the pattern for you, or the pattern information if you want that. But it's really interesting. It was such an easy project to make. And I used bamboo. I used the yarn it asked for, I think. I can't remember. I know that it has bamboo in this. And I got the yarn at Hobby Lobby, and I used 2 colors, obviously. And what's cool is you carry it up here, so you never actually have to break your yarn. You just carry it over, and then you can't see that because you stitch across the top. So basically it's just you single crochet for a while, half double crochet for a while, double crochet for a while, and then treble. And that's what gives it the little swishiness. Love this skirt. I wear it all the time. It's perfect for spring and fall because it's a little bit heavier. And it's beautiful. I get lots of compliments on this when I wear it. And that is all I'm going to show you for my ends of the past this week. And I will move right on to my finished object. I showed you 1 roller last week. And now I have 2 rollers, little soulmates. And I already have dog hair on my socks because I put them on and I have dogs. So I'm done. 2 rollers. These are both, obviously they're both because they're a pair, made with Patton's Croy in the colorway Bramble Stripes. And I love how they worked up. And I really like ankle socks a lot. So I'm finished with these, and that is my only finished object. But I have more socks on the needles, and I've mentioned Sarah over at Love Sock Wool is doing a sock knit along for back to school socks, and she is knitting the number 2 pencil socks. But she said that with her podcast or her knit along, you can do any sock yarn you want. If it just reminds you of going back to school, it doesn't have to be the number 2 pencil sock yarn. It can be any socks. Just knit some socks and join in on the knit along. I am doing number 2 pencils, and I am so excited about these. I'm actually knitting them for Trella, and she's over the moon. She cannot wait until they're done. She's been waiting for me to knit these for a while. You can see that I'm almost done with the gray, and I'll move on into the yellow. And these are just, guys, so much fun. I know I was kind of griping and grumbling about what a pain balling up this yarn was, but now that I'm knitting it, gosh, I love it. It's so smushy and awesome. And it just makes me so happy. It just makes me so happy. And so I'm doing these 2 at a time, but not, not on circulars, obviously. So basically what I did is did all the ribbing on one and then did the ribbing on the other. And then did a few of these rows on one of the gray and then did a few on the other. That way they're the exact same. I am using the pattern. You can buy it on Ravelry. the number 2 sock yarn pattern from Yarn Enabler is who this yarn is from, and you can find her on Ravelry. And she's got some awesome sock yarn, not just number 2 pencil. So go check her out for sure. And because her pattern is just sort of more a recipe, that's why I'm doing this 2 at a time. That way I know exactly how many rows, and I can make them the exact same. So hopefully I will probably be done with these by next week. I don't know though how much knitting time I'm going to have between here and then. And yeah, I really like them. I am knitting these on size 1. I think they're 1.5. I'll just check right quick. Okay, yeah, they're 1.5 or 2.5 millimeters. Look at my awesome needle gauge that I got at my local yarn store. Knitting is big in Texas. And they actually sell these on Etsy too, so you can find your state, because they have all the states. And they say different things. Knitting is something in Illinois or wherever you live. So yeah, I'm knitting these 2 at a time, and I'm really enjoying it. And it seems like it's going faster than just knitting 1 sock and then having to knit the second. I'm knitting these on Knit Picks DPNs, and they're not my favorite. I really wish that I had a pair of the Cubics. The Nova Cubics is what I knit most of my socks on, and that's what I knit my rollers on. I knit them on size 2.5 or 3 millimeter on the Cubics. Those are my favorites, so I'm going to have to get some more definitely in the size 1.5. That's what I've decided I like knitting my socks at. I like the fabric that I get. The 2.5 is too gappy in some sock yarn. In the Patons Croy it's fine, because Patons Croy is kind of a denser sock yarn, but in anything indie dyed, it's just not as good. So I'm knitting those. I'm really enjoying knitting these, and hopefully I'll be done soon. Aren't they cute? I'm so excited. I'm so excited about these. And then once I get done with the yellow, I know I've showed this on other episodes, but she included minis for the toes. So I have 2 minis with the brown and the black for the wood and the lead. Yeah, so we are sailing away at those, which are so much fun. I'm also really going to try, this is my Mommy Sew project bag. You can find her, I said last time, on her Instagram, which you can find her on Instagram, but her Etsy shop is also called Mommy Sew, and she's got tons of cute stuff, not just project bags, so you should go check her out. And I actually moved my owl zipper pull onto this bag, and this owl zipper pull is from my swap with Andy from the Andre Sue Knit, and she made me this bag. But I liked my owl on this one because it's got the tree print. So now this bag I've talked about before is from You Sew and Sew. It's got teepees and owls and trees and feathers and arrows. I love it. I'm to the green on my Potter shawl, y'all. Done with the purple. Couldn't be happier about that. Was really getting sick of the purple. And I am getting there. I started the lace bit because if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the Potter's shawl, and the bottom is where I am at right now, and that's what I'm doing the green in. So I started one of the lace repeats, and I don't think it was right, I had my kids and my husband here talking to me, and we all know I cannot focus when people are talking to me. So I thought I'll just wait until they're in school and Tim's working to be able to focus on this. So I went ahead and started it again this morning, and I'm just right there. And what I do is go back and pick up the border and knit. So I'm just going to be knitting on these stitches all the way and pick up your border, right? Hopefully I can do it. I'm not great with lace. I'm not great with counting. It's kind of frustrating for me. I'm trying to learn, y'all. I really am. So wish me luck. I'm really trying to get this done by this weekend so I can wear it to stitches. I plan to go Saturday. It's Tuesday. So, and I have, you know, a million little stitches to pick up. And I'm also beading it, which I talked about. So I have one bead right there. And maybe I should have put one up here too. I don't know. Maybe I'll rip back and do it. And I'm using these beads that I have in my tin, but I don't want to like tilt it over because it's really full. I filled it up. I got this tin at Hobby Lobby. I really like it for notations and beads and different things. But this yarn I'm using is Malabrigo 100% superwash, and this was Malabrigo too. This was the African Violets colorway, I think, and this was Acro Iris, or however you say it. So yeah, purple and green's my favorite combination. I cannot wait to be done with this. I hope to be done with it by stitches, but realistically, I probably won't be. Maybe I can just wear it like this. I said that at midnight the other night. I'll just wear it like this as my whip. Like hold my yarn. Yes, this is my shawl. Don't you love it? I made it myself. No. Okay. Maybe not. But yeah, hopefully I can finish it. I doubt it. I've got a lot to do this week. I probably won't finish it, which will make me sad. I do have other handmade things that I can wear and show off at stitches, so I'm not that worried about it. It was just something I kind of wanted done. And yeah, so I've also worked on my Neuro sweater this week. So I showed y'all the front on a previous podcast, and now I have a back as well. I did the back this weekend, so all I have to do is the sleeves and then stitch it together and I'm done. And the sleeves shouldn't take me too long at all. And then I will have a beautiful new sweater when it starts to get cold. As I've mentioned, we live in Texas. It probably won't actually get cold enough to wear this until late October, November maybe, if then. But that's okay. I bought this yarn last year for my birthday, and I'm happy that I've made something by my next birthday, which is in November. My daughters and I were all born in November. My husband, my poor husband, goes broke every November and December because he has our birthdays and then Christmas. We couldn't spread it out very well, obviously. And I'll show you a picture so you know what it's going to look like when it's done. I showed this on a few other podcasts, but just in case you're new. And I got the exact yarn set. This book, pretty awesome. I've already made a few things, and I'll probably make a few more. And so I really recommend this. If you want some really cute, interesting crochet patterns, I made those. And I made this, which I showed y'all on the very last episode, the bobble hat. So yeah, I think that's a great book. And if you need a new pattern book, that's a good one to have. So that's all my works in progress. That's not true. I have one more. In my cozy crafting masterpiece in progress project bag. I love this bag. It's so amazing. I have my first Hexie Puff. Ah, yay. So I've said that I wanted to do Hexie Puff cushions for my car seats, because I have leather seats in my cars, and also for my dining room chairs. I have wood chairs, and I want to do little seat cushions. So I started with my minis. And this is not showing up very well. It looks a little washed out on my camera. It's Madeline Tosh yarn in colorway Cactus Flower. You guys, this yarn just stings to me. And I've decided it's kind of tonal, and it's got some flecks of orangey red and kind of purpley and pink. So it's just a really, really pretty yarn. And I've decided that this is what I want to knit my featherweight out of. I want to knit a featherweight. I believe Yarngasm, Kristen from Woolenvine Yarns and Yarngasm podcast, is doing a knit along for a featherweight. And I probably won't make it for a while, but I've been wanting to make a featherweight anyway, since I saw Molly's from a Homespun House's featherweight that she was making. I had favorited then, and I've just sort of been sitting on what kind of yarn I wanted to use for it. Yeah, that's going to be my featherweight. I really, 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 really like this colorway. And that's the only Hexie Puff I made. I did sit down to make another, and then I just didn't get it done. And I knit these on my Carbon 3, the little thing wore off. They're 2.5 or 3 millimeter. And I originally said that I really didn't like carbons. Since I said that, I've knit a few things with this, a few small things with these, and they're not so terrible. They're actually picking up some of the oil on my hands, so they're gliding easier than they were when I first got them. And even though the pattern asks for a size 4, I believe, the Hexie Puff pattern, it's called the Beekeeper's Quilt on Ravelry. I use these because that's what I had handy at the time. And as much as I do like, and I'm using sock yarn too, so I should use smaller needles, because I think the pattern says to use worsted weight or sock yarn. And so since I'm using sock yarn and I wanted it, the stuffing not to show through the stitches, I went ahead and sized down my needles. And I'm kind of regretting how tiny this is, because you can see they're about the same as my flowers on my blanket, my Molly flower blanket that I'll never, ever, ever be finished with. Ever. I doubt it, anyway. But maybe that's not true for this, because I do like the yarn I'm using, which is part of the problem with this. I just don't like the yarn. And they're fun to make. Gosh, they're so fun. This first one took me a little bit of time, but it's just my first one, so I'm sure the further I go, the faster I'll get at making them. And I have it all in here with all of my minis. I knew something was going to fall out if I did that. Along with my patterns. So I have 3 patterns in here. I have the Hexie Puff pattern, and then I have the Bunny Nugget pattern, and then I have the Bird of Happiness pattern. Just all sort of little mini projects for my mini schemes that I plan to make and do. Yeah, I just thought that way, if I ever just want to work on something small, it's all in here, ready to go. I have some scissors. I don't know if I've showed this before. I love reusing things and finding new ways to. This is an M&M candy container. My little girl loves M&Ms, and she gets them. And then I just have some of my notations in here. So I have my Hiya sharp scissors that just took a dive onto the floor. Have a pair of scissors, a darning needle, and a bunch of stitch markers. All in here, and then a little stitch holder in case I need it. All in here, all contained nicely. Yeah. So, I mean, it's nice to buy cutesy stuff like this, but it's nice to be able to use stuff like this too. And I actually thought about it. My Atrella just got a new hot glue gun because she's really into crafting too. And I thought it'd be so cute just to put a piece of fabric or maybe even bedazzle the outside of it so it's as attractive as, say, this one that I bought. Or, you know, just looks nicer than just a blue container. But yeah, I have it all in here in my awesome Cozy Crafting project bag. She has a podcast and an Etsy shop, so definitely check her out. And I have not done any work on my Rosemont. I went to knit night on Thursday, and they were all working on it. Our cast on date was 9/11, and I went to knit night on the 10th, but everyone was already working on it. And a lot of people have come a long way. And some of the people were working on it early so they could help, because apparently there's a lot of mistakes on some of the stitches and stitch counts on the Rosemont. If you read through the project page on Ravelry, a lot of people are kind of angry about how much they had to change or figure out. And so the more I listened to them, the more I was like, am I absolutely certain that I want to work on something that I'm going to have to troubleshoot? And one of the other ladies at Knit Night says, you absolutely don't want your first garment to be something that's got errors. You want to find a nice pattern that doesn't have any errors. And I have the book, and the book's stitch count, people have said it's better, but then at Knit Night, a couple of the ladies read through and found, a couple of the more experienced knitters that have been knitting 20 years. I want to knit it because I want to knit along. I want the camaraderie of making the same thing as my knit group. And I guess if I run into problems, I can always just have them help me out. So I guess that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and knit it. This is the yarn I'm using. I ripped my swatch out. I was going to cast on, but I'm really trying to be disciplined and at least finish this red sweater before I cast on another thing. It's been really hard, y'all. I've physically walked away from casting this on twice. 'Cause I'm like, no, go work on your Noro sweater. Put down the needle, pick up the hook. I need to finish some stuff. And I still have that fall cardigan that I showed you guys last week, the orangey one. It's right over there in the corner, but I'm not going to grab it. I still need to finish that too. And I probably will finish one of either the red or the orange sweater before I cast this on. And this is the Rosemont, which I've showed y'all about 1,000 times. I want to make it. I like that style of sweater. This yarn I bought last year when I bought the Noro yarn, and I think it would make a great Christmassy sweater. Very snuggly and soft. It's silk alpaca, and it's got some sparkle, so it's so festive. The green isn't really showing up. It's really bright. I mean, it's definitely a holly green. So hopefully I'll get one of the other sweaters done this week so I can cast this on. Because I want to cast it on. I really do. And that is all in my bird leg bag, project bag. It's got chickens and eggs on the inside. And I love this bag so much. And I wanted to show y'all, Atrella's actually made me some stitch markers. So she's been cleaning her craft station. She has a deal with her dad that he'll buy her anything in Michael's if she organizes her craft station. And I really should have taken a before and after picture because I'm surprised how much stuff she's let go of. I say hoarder in the nicest possible way, but she's kind of a hoarder. She likes to save every little thing that she's ever drawn or colored or created because she thinks it's great. And it usually is really great, but at the same time you can't hold on to everything. I don't even hold on to all my stuff that I've made because I try to be practical. And if you don't love it, then why hold on to it? And that's what I've been telling her. You know, kind of on par with the Magic of Tidying Up book. I'm trying to grab it. If I could get it turned the right way. So the whole idea behind this book is if it doesn't spark joy, donate it, find a place for it. Just, you don't need it. Because you'll be happier with less clutter. And that's so true. So true. But she made me 2 stitch markers. She found some stuff in her craft station and asked to borrow my jewelry pliers and made me a little butterfly one and a little Valentine one, which says kiss me, and then flip it over and it says be mine. I just thought that was really sweet that she found that, and instead of throwing it away, she in secret made me some stitch markers. She said, here Mom, you can use these. Well, that made me really happy. I know I said I wouldn't buy anything until Stitches. Did you believe me? No? That's good. You should never, ever, ever believe me when I say yarn diet. It's not true. It's not. I'll never follow it. That being said, here's my stash enhancement. Yes, it's a project bag. Yes, I have a million of them. But you know, you get tired of carrying around the same stuff all the time. And I'm not a purse collector, so to me, my project bag is like my purse. Look how amazing it is. This is from Cat's Kettle. Katrina over at Cat's Kettle makes project bags, and she's starting to hand dye yarn. And she's just amazing. She has a podcast. Yarn 30 is her podcast, and she's just really awesome. I love watching what she's working on every week. She also has a knit along currently going on called the Mighty Stitch Knit Along. I believe that's what it's called. And she wants to donate items, specifically preemie hats. Her daughter was born premature, and so she wants to donate preemie hats. And I actually am making, I say making, I haven't made one in a while, all of these stuffies to donate to the local children's hospital. My children's health is something that weighs a lot on my mind. They're very healthy. They've always been very healthy, knock on wood. But I know that there are children that struggle with their health, and I am endlessly grateful that my daughters don't. And I kind of wanted to step outside my comfort zone and do something for sick kids, because that just, it breaks my heart that there are children suffering in this world. That just shouldn't happen, in my opinion, which, you know, is impractical. Children are people, and human nature is suffering. So I just thought that, you know, a little bit of hand-stitched love would go a long way to a sick kid. So that's going to be my contribution. She set her end date, I think, right before November for Thanksgiving. And might have some that I want to donate by then, but I was kind of hoping to have a bunch made before I go. So it'll probably be another year before I'm ready to donate mine. But I wanted to extend that to you guys who do charity knitting, charity crocheting. Maybe you would like to make some preemie hats and join in on her podcast or her knit along. And she's on Ravelry too, so you can find her group under Yarn 30. She made this bag, was the whole point to all that. And before she even listed it in her Etsy shop, she had posted it to Instagram, and I said, yes, please. I need it in my life. I will buy it from you. So she actually didn't even list it on her Etsy. She just sent me a private listing and said, here's your bag. And what I think is really cool about, she said that she's going to do like a signature zipper. So all of her zippers are going to be like this neon green color, which I love. This bag, man, I just can't get over the fabric. And on the inside, she did this really cool yellow, which I love yellow, and it's got a pocket, which I like bags with pockets because, you know, to stick your scissors in there or your notations or whatever. That way they're not getting mixed up with your yarn. And as soon as I get done with my pencil socks, I'm going to cast on highlighter socks. This is truly Hooks yarn in the prickly pear colorway, and it's cashmere. I'm going to make myself socks with this. Very electric, out of my comfort zone neon colors. But I love it. It makes me happy. And I still have my Girl on Fire District 12 sock yarn from the Brazen Stitchery. And this is all in an angry ball like this because I ripped out that sock. I showed you it a couple podcasts ago. I just ripped it out, knit almost a whole sock, and then it was too tight. Too tight for me, too tight for a trella. It wasn't going to fit. So I just had to rework it. But yeah, I mean, especially with Halloween coming up, and it's got a wrist strap. I love having wrist straps on my project bags. I just love this bag. And it's got this little kitty right here. Meow. In the little graveyard. With the full moon. And the raven. Very cool bag. Very cool. So I wanted to talk about my needles. I always talk about my needles and how much I hate all my needles. These I talked about. These are the DPNs I'm using for my pencil socks from Knit Picks. I don't like them. They're really hard. I said that I didn't like my cubics because they bend too easy, and I do not like these because they kind of make my hands hurt when I'm knitting with them because they don't have any give. So I don't want them to bend, but I want them to have give. You can't have it both ways, right? So that's one of my problems with these, is they just kind of hurt my finger when I'm working with them. Another problem that I'm having with the Knit Picks is, you see on this one, you can't really see it, but the varnish is coming off. And it's slowing down the glide on my needles. And so I don't think that I'm going to buy any more Knit Picks needles, even though they're cheap. They're cheap for a reason, y'all. They're cheap for a reason. So, but I do like, I mean, I think they're interchangeables is fine. I haven't had any problems with them coming unloose or anything like that. More just, I don't like that they kind of feel like they drag a little bit now, since some of that varnish is coming off. What else? Let's see. Oh, two other podcasts that I've been really enjoying watching are Carlenergy. She is a newish podcast. I think she only has 3-ish maybe episodes out. She lives in New York, and she's a knitter and a spinner, and I just really enjoy seeing what she's working on. She's got a bird. I would love to have a bird. I love birds. I have chickens, obviously, but I've always wanted a bird inside. My husband is allergic to everything under the sun. A bird is not in my future ever. Kind of makes me sad. And he thinks keeping birds in a cage is wrong anyway. I don't think that. I think that especially if it's a companion animal that you spend time with, who cares? I would have loved to been able to have an owl, like Harry Potter. Yeah, I want a pet owl. That makes me so jealous. Apparently in the UK there was a real problem with owls at like the SPCA, or their version of the SPCA, because of the Harry Potter movie, and everyone got pet owls. So maybe it's a good thing that it's illegal to own an owl here in the States. Another podcast that I've really been enjoying is the Kill-to-Craft podcast. I want to say she lives in England, London maybe, but I don't think she's from there. She's definitely got a very Scottish accent, I think. I'm bad with accents, so that might not be it. I haven't watched all of her episodes, just the last couple, so I don't know if she's mentioned it before. but Vanessa, love your accent, love your podcast. I love watching everything that you're working on and just listening to you talk, really. I could just listen to you talk all day long. And she is working on some Croy socks too, and the colorway that I actually have in my stash, and it makes me want to knit those so bad. It's a gray rainbow striped sock. It's awesome. Your socks look awesome. Makes me want to break out mine, but I'm knitting other socks right now, so I just have to wait. So, and I also, on my podcast group, I reached 500 followers on Instagram, so I thought it would be fun to do a giveaway on my podcast. So I was giving away this spindle and some fiber, and I said that I would pick up some fiber at my yarn store, and they had fiber, just not anything really great, and I wanted to wait and go to Stitches and see if I can find you guys some fiber to go with your spindle there. So if you want to win this and a little braid of fiber, go to my podcast group, join the group, and I have a thread titled giveaway, and I only want to know what bugs you. I talked about ants bugging me, and then a couple of you have gone and commented, so thank you. And it was really interesting to read what bugs other people. But the more I thought about it, the more I was kind of bummed that I came up with something negative to give away on my podcast. Like, I really tried. A couple of years ago, I read the book, The Secret, and also watched the little movie thing that they have. And the idea is everything that you put out in the world comes back at you. That's the secret. So be positive, be happy, and you'll get positive things and happy things happen to you. If you're negative and always looking at the horrible things in life, obviously that's what's going to be attracted to you. And so I was like, why do I have to come up with something negative? Why couldn't it have been, what makes you so happy? But I said what bugs me is fire ants. That is so true. We've had such a problem with fire ants this year. It seems like either you complain about the drought or all of the rain brings in fire ants. And we've been fighting them like crazy this year. So if you want to win this and some fiber, even if you have spinning stuff, you don't have to be new to spinning. Anybody, you want to win this? It is a Satch high-low drop spindle. I bought it at my local yarn store. This was my first drop spindle that I used. And yeah, if you want to win it, give me a comment. This weekend, my husband took my daughters dove hunting. I was feeling really bad on Friday and Saturday. We had plans to go watch my dad race. He's a race car driver, like on dirt tracks, so nothing real fancy. But I was sick, so I couldn't, I literally didn't get out of bed. I did some knitting and I watched movies and pretty much just laid there, wishing I was dying. But he took them hunting. I didn't feel like going, but they had a blast. He didn't get any birds, but they plan to go again this week a couple times after school and stuff, and maybe again over the weekend. And the girls and I on Sunday, I don't think I've mentioned it, but on Instagram I posted some pictures of them picking prickly pears. My husband has been asking me to make him prickly pear jelly for probably 4 or 5 years now, and I've never really wanted to hassle with it. But finally this year for our anniversary, I made him prickly pear jelly. Prickly pear. And it is so dark. I've already tried it, and it's okay. I put a ton of sugar in it because while I was processing the prickly pears, they just smelled like potatoes. In all the blogs and things that you read about making prickly pear jelly, it's sort of hit or miss on whether it's going to gel, on whether it's going to be edible. And so I used a ton of sugar and 2 packs of pectin, and it did perfect. And so if you want the recipe on what I did, it's such a hassle to process these though. You have to pick them with tongs, you have to cut them with tongs, hold them with the tongs and slice them, and then boil them down, and then filter out the juice from the fruit, which takes the longest time. So boiling them down isn't that bad, but waiting on it to filter, you have to do it. I did it through, we have food grade filters, but the blog I read used cheesecloth. And then I also filtered it again through my coffee filter because there was still a little bit of floaty stuff in there, and I didn't want to risk any thorns or anything being in my jelly. And then after it filtered all day long, I made jelly. So yeah, I made him strawberry jelly for his birthday and then prickly pear jelly for our anniversary. So we're good on jelly for a while. I'm actually, a couple of my friends want some jars of jelly, so I'm going to gift them some of the prickly pear and some of the strawberry. So that was fun to do with them. And another thing that I've been working on is a shopping list for stitches. I have mentioned on a previous podcast how I feel like I get inebriated when I go into a yarn store. I'm just like suddenly drunk on lust and I want all of the fiber immediately, and I don't think about what project I would make with it or what fiber it is. Am I really going to like working with this? I want a plan. I want to go to Stitches with a plan. And so I've been looking through my favorites. I've been deciding what I want to work on sort of in the future months and really have a set plan on what I'm going to purchase while I'm at Stitches. And I took it a step further and went to their website and saw what vendors are going to be there. Guys, I'm going to be so excited. It's going to be insane. I kept telling my husband, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I can't wait to touch this yarn. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. He was lying there about to take a nap. I put him to sleep talking about how excited I was about yarn. But I am. I can't help it. I can't help it. This is going to be my first yarn festival, so I don't really know what to expect. I told him I might pass out from excitement. I'm going to pee myself. I don't know. It's going to be exciting, y'all. I'm going to go to Stitches. So next week when I come back, I'll have some enhancement to show you, and I won't feel bad about it at all. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I have a plan on what I'm going to buy versus what I just sort of want to look at. And hopefully I can finish my shawl. That's all I've got. That is, I'm trying to think. That's all I have on my notes. But that doesn't mean that's all I have. That's definitely all I have. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for checking me out. Thanks for coming back. Hope more of you join the podcast or the group, so you can get a chance to win this awesome drop spindle. And we'll see you next time. Bye.